And we all see where that went. It didn't work out for him whatsoever. Pereira caught him with the left-right combo and just finished him off, teed off on him with the end of the fight. What's going on, bros and hoes? This is the Kevin Hoop Show, and man, what a fucking main card we had last night with UFC 281. And I don't know what it is with these fifth round KOs, with Usman getting knocked out by Leon Edwards with a head kick, and now Israel Adesanya getting knocked out in the fifth round. Who's next with the fifth round KOs with these championship fights? I don't get it. Hats off to Alex Pereira, though. At the end of the day, it was an amazing fight from both fighters, and he ended up coming out in the fifth round on top. Now, me personally, and I think a lot of other people were along the same kind of thinking that I was, with having Izzy up 3-1 going into that fifth round. I really think that all he had to do to win that fight was take him down one more time. He had 6 minutes of ground control. He'd taken him down before in the fight, and he had a lot of ground and pound. He kept him down. He showed that he had good ground game and that he has adapted since fighting Jan Blachowicz and people in the past, and maybe not having as good as grappling as he's wanted to. Now, there was a point in the beginning of the fifth round where I think he might have tried to take him down. He went in the clinch and went for a trip, and it looked like Pereira maybe defended it, or maybe he was too tired to go for the takedown, but I just don't think maybe his plan changed, and maybe he was trying to go for a takedown but noticed he couldn't, so he said, I'm just going to stand with him for the next 3 minutes of the fight. And we all see where that went. It didn't work out for him whatsoever. Pereira caught him with the left-right combo and just finished him off, teed off on him with the end of the fight. I know that there was always that small crowd. There's usually always that small crowd when a big fight like this happens and the person that they want fighting doesn't win. A lot of people were saying early stoppage. And maybe not a lot, but, there was that small majority of people saying early stoppage. Now, me personally, in the moment, I said Izzy was out. I said Izzy was gone. I think his corner agreed, and I think looking back at it, he probably thought that as well. In the press conference, he was talking about how in the moment he was there. He was dodging punches. He thought maybe his eyes rolled back for a little bit, but in the moment, he was actually conscious and dodging punches. So maybe it was an early stoppage. He made a good joke about one of the refs that, always lets the fights go on. But I really think that the fight was going to be going to an end. I think that Alex Pereira definitely had the upper hand by that point in the fight and was going to finish him no matter what. And Israel Adesanya said, let me go out on my sword, man. If I'm going out, let me go out. But I think that that's why the refs are there, and it was a good stoppage at the end of the day. I don't really think it was an early stoppage. Another thing that's being overlooked that happened at the end of that fifth round was Israel Adesanya, when he threw one of his leg kicks, Alex Pereira ended up checking it, and he said in the press conference that his peroneal nerve completely got fucked up there, and his leg basically went dead, I guess. He had a dead leg and tripped, and that's why he had to do the backwards roll. And that might have been another factor of him not just being there mentally and leading to him making a mistake and Alex Pereira capitalizing on that. Maybe that's a factor. Maybe it's not. I think that it definitely was one. And I can tell you this, if my peroneal nerve in my leg went out and I couldn't put any weight on it, or it just felt like I had a dead leg, it's definitely going to mess up your movement at least. So, me personally, I think it definitely had a factor in him losing that fifth round and making a mistake that he probably wouldn't have made at the end of the day. Now, the beginning of the fight was a little bit different compared to that fifth round where Alex Pereira looked a lot more dominant. Again, I said going into that fifth round, it was 3-1. Izzy had Pereira gassed. He took him down multiple times. He caught him at the end of the first round. I really think the only round you give to Alex Pereira is the first round. He looked dominant. He caught Izzy once or twice in the beginning of the first round. But Izzy caught Alex Pereira at the end of the first round as well, and probably would have finished him if he had a few more seconds, probably 10 more seconds. Izzy said 3. I think that's a little much, but I definitely think if he had 10 more seconds, one more powerful shot, and Alex Pereira was done in the first round. After that, you see Izzy have a lot of ground control. I said he had 6 minutes of ground control, and Alex Pereira was gassed. I thought he was done, especially compared to the first round and the second round. The third, fourth, and fifth, he was breathing super, super heavy. I thought he was done. His gas tank was empty. And hats off to Alex Pereira's cornermen. giving one of the best fucking motivational speeches you could give someone to hype someone up, to get them back into the groove that they need to get into. Very comparable to Leon Edwards' speech that they gave to him at the end of the fourth, right before the fifth round, when he knocked out Kamaru Usman in the end of the fifth. I just think that is exactly what someone needs if they're going to go out there and knock someone out and do the unthinkable. They need a cornerman to give a speech like that, to just completely give them the confidence and to re-energize them and just put them back in the fight. I'm not saying that the cornermen were the reason that he won, but I definitely think that was a reason that he was definitely more energized in the fifth compared to the beginning rounds when he was, very gassed. He was definitely low energy in that third, fourth round. Moving forward is going to be very interesting. I think with Alex Pereira winning 3 of the last fights that they've had, 1 by decision and 2 by knockouts, I think it's going to be interesting to see if we see a rematch. I think that Israel Adesanya definitely deserves one. Dana White talked about how Israel Adesanya is not someone who just talks the talk about, always showing up to a fight. He's someone who fights 3 times a year. Being a champ, doing that, you don't really see that a lot. So I think that Dana White has a lot of respect for him in that aspect. I really think that we probably are going to see a rematch, even if Alex Pereira doesn't want one. And I also think that we've only seen these guys fight once in MMA. And you really don't see rematches happen only if one guy was dominant the whole entire fight and wins that fight. We saw Israel Adesanya be dominant this whole entire fight and Alex Pereira come out in the fifth and have a really big upset. So I think that's a thing that we really don't see when it comes to rematches, or a thing that's a thing to think about when it comes to this rematch in particular. At the end of the day, though, it was a really entertaining fight. It was a big upset, and that's why we watch these types of fights, and I'm down to watch the rematch. I'm definitely going to be tuning in for the rematch. When that's going to be, who knows? I know Israel Adesanya was talking about trying to get his health back together. He was talking about some stuff that he hasn't disclosed to anyone, and I hope that he is all right. I hope there's nothing serious. But I do know that he's probably going to take some time off and focus on himself and really try and make sure that his health is back to 100%. That's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about the fights. It was a big upset. Did you guys have Israel Adesanya 3-1 going into the fifth? We've got more videos coming out later this week. Tune into the channel for those. It's going to be a lot of breaking things down and what happened in UFC 281, as well as what the future is going to look like for some of these fighters and some confirmed fights that have already happened possibly. Tune in. Have a great motherfucking Sunday, baby.